What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse ranch. No hate. So, y'all, what they have in the works right now is Deontay Wilder versus Zheli Zhang. I think they said for June 1st. Now, nothing's guaranteed at this point. When I look at this fight, now this is a fight that could have happened on the last pay-per-view, but Wilder, he didn't sign. He didn't sign for the rematch with Parker either. He was obviously not confident. Malik Scott showed concern for his, physical and mental state. Verbally made it known. And now this is the fight that they're trying to make happen. Now, this is what I think. Based on, and there's no information other than I read, I actually posted in the community section of my channel where Michael Benson has reported this, and I'm pretty sure by now the word has gotten around about it. Now, what I really believe is this: if all of a sudden now the fight can be made, I feel like more than likely, now, one, I would want to beat the guy that beat me. So it would make more sense to me that Deontay would be saying, no, I want Parker. Now, I don't know if they have anything planned for Parker. As of now, this fight is not even the main event. But as of now, it's Beterbiev versus Bivol in the main event. The other fight that they're trying to make is Filip Urkovic versus Daniel Dubois. So all the talk about, the heavyweight division is the backbone, and no, it depends on the fighters. Heavyweights don't just automatically get the nod. And then this fight with Deontay Wilder versus Zheli Zhang is what they're trying to make. So to have those three fights locked in, okay, which nothing right now is locked in. But those three fights are what they're trying to get locked in. You would think okay, you don't know who else is on this card. It makes me think I thought about David Benavidez and said, man, he need to be trying to get down with the Saudis. I mean, all of these different people who understand what's happening. Like I said, man, because outside of the Saudis, man, there's no fights going on that people are really even talking about. But, bottom line, when I look at this fight, I think, now, both of them, Wilder and Zhang, are in the same position. They both lost to the same guy, Joseph Parker. Now, Parker completely outclassed and beat up Deontay Wilder. Parker versus Zhang was competitive. Parker got dropped. He took a knee. Zhang gassed out. And Parker was able to sustain what he, his particular pace and outpoint him. I believe if Zhang had a better gas tank, he might have knocked Parker out. More than likely. If he had a better gas tank, I believe so. Because when Zhang gasses, it's like he just can't punch at all. Now, when you look at this, I believe this is strategic in saying, well, you know what? Looking at this fight, Zhang looks like the easier of the two between him and Parker, because we know Parker can go the distance. Zhang gasses. Now, Wilder, I don't expect him, in all honesty, to try to fight anybody the way he fought Parker. Wilder needs to do what he normally does, because that's all he knows. And basically, the one thing that he would have to do differently, he'd have to fight Zhang the way he fought Chris Arreola. And that's with just movement, and constantly throwing that jab, upstairs, downstairs, mixing it up, throwing the right hand, not repetitively, not getting desperate, and just actually being focused on doing that, because Wilder doesn't mix punches up well. So he's more comfortable with jab, right hand. But the jab is going to have to be the key weapon in his movement. Now, Zhang is a very, very hard puncher, but Zhang is a stationary fighter. If Zhang has to follow you, if he has to walk you down, okay, if you make him do more than what he's used to doing, he's going to gas. Now, unless he just really gets in shape where, okay, I can go 12 or 10 or whatever many rounds are going to go, more like 10 because there's no title involved, but hey, I can do this with no problem. If he is in shape, if Zhang is in shape, I say he beats Wilder. If Zhang, and I mean in shape to go to, like, be able to go the distance and do what he has to do, it may not go the distance. Now, you have two big punchers, and now you could have a situation where neither guy is really committing the way they should, worrying about getting hit. Or they might just both go balls to the wall and say, fuck it. Now, I wouldn't suggest that strategy, but hey, they're going to do what they're going to do. And for Zhang just has to do what he does. All Zhang has to do is just be in shape, because Wilder can't outbox him. He can't outbox Zhang. That's not happening. You know, that's not happening. Zhang being in shape, being in proper fight shape. Let me say that to be in proper fight shape. You know, he outboxes Wilder and probably more likely knocks Wilder out. If Wilder, you know, does what he normally does, but he has to be more active with that jab, like I said. The problem is, like I say, he's predictable. But if he does what he normally does and he moves, because what he can't afford to do is be behind on points. So, you know, the thing is, if he's moving and he's jabbing, then he's landing his jab. How comfortable Wilder is with trying to put punches together, like whatever game plan they come up with, he's gonna have to be first against Zhang, and he's gonna have to try to discourage Zhang. Zhang throws combinations, he works off his jab, but Zhang is better when you stand flat-footed in front of him. And for Wilder to do that, it would be stupid. Wilder's a lot smaller, and what people don't understand, especially like when you hear me talk about his legs, Zhang throws hard punches, and he throws hard punches upstairs, he throws hard punches downstairs. When you have little skinny weak legs like that, for a man to actually say that he had no legs walking by the time he got to the ring because he had a 45-pound vest on. I jog uphill with a 65-pound vest on. You understand what I mean? I take extremely long walks up and down hills, jog, sprint with so leg weights on. So, you know, when your body can't take that, and this is what people don't understand. Wilder's body can't take that shit. And every time somebody says Wilder can take a punch, it's like, okay, when you say somebody can take a punch, that means you've seen them get fucked up. You've seen them getting cracked. But he's been knocked out. You understand what I mean by Fury? So when you say he can take a punch, so what? Joyce can take a punch also, but y'all still think Wilder can knock him out. So this is something that people put in their head, like, you can hit Wilder, but Wilder's not going to go anywhere. But when Wilder hits you, it's different. Nah, you know, you guys are going to see the difference. You know, as I said, he steps up in competition. You see the difference. You'll see, like, damn, he's not doing what he used to. Now, in this situation, Zhang is 40 years old. Wilder, if they're telling the truth, because Wilder's been 38 for like the past 5 years. If it's true about him being 38, well, he'll be 39 in October. So, if this fight is finalized, you have a 38-year-old man. I don't know when Zhang's birthday is. So you have a 38-year-old man versus a 40-year-old. Okay, unless he turns 41 before June. I don't know when his birthday is, but so let's just say 38 and 40. You got to look at this realistically, y'all. If Zhang loses this fight, it's like what I said might happen with Zhang. That the biggest hurrah of his career is that he beat Joe Joyce twice and never became world champion. Because you got to understand that at these guys' ages, man, it's like the things you should have done when you were younger, the people you should have fought, you didn't. So now it's like I got to make up for lost time. And you see what the Saudis are doing, though, right? I told you, the Saudis are not interested in any fighter fighting a tune-up on their card. They want nothing but top guys versus top guys. So the fact is, if Wilder is deciding, nah, I'm not taking a tune-up, I'm going straight back into with another top-level guy, so be it. And like I said, if he did take a tune-up, there's nothing wrong with that. Just admit, hey, look, man, this is just a stay busy fight, or two stay busy fights or whatever, and I just want to work on some things, and, you know, we right back in there. That's what this is, because I want to get back on this Saudi card. There's nothing disrespect, like there's nothing to not respect about that. The man is being honest, and then, hey, you know I need to work on some things. But my thing is, when I said, now think about what I said to you guys. I said, I don't see the purpose of taking 2 tune-ups just to stay busy. Because if you go in there and knock out 2, below level fighters, okay, low tier fighters, how does that build your confidence up to get back in there with a top tier guy? It can't. Because you're lying to yourself. And then once you get in there, and it's like, here I go again. Now I'm having a hard time with a top level guy. I'm not able to get to this guy like I do these low tier guys. But it's always but the thing with Wilder is once he lands, like, here you just seen 2 fighters that he couldn't knock out. Okay? Whether it's because he wasn't catching them flush, whether it's because he knocked him down and he got back up, whatever, bottom line, he couldn't get it done. He couldn't finish, he couldn't finish him off, regardless. So my thing is, what does those fight now? Just and that's why I said, just be honest and admit it. You're staying busy. You're getting the rounds in. You're working on new things. Well, that part is where you got to dismiss, based on his own words, of what applies to other fighters don't apply to me. So I don't expect to see nothing but the same Wilder as his whole career. You think he's going to change now at 38? So my thing with Wilder is, if he's jumping right back in there with Zhang, he knows his clock is ticking. And there's no need at 38 years old. That's why I said, if he decides to take a tune-up, he need to be trying to do this as fast as possible. And if it's going to be 2, same thing. So for him to say he wants to fight 3-4 times a year, okay, well, now would be the time to do it. So for him and Zhang, they're both in the same boat right now. Zhang, like, look, if Wilder loses this fight, what's next for Wilder? What he was gonna fight Francis Ngannou after this? Like what's next for Wilder if he loses to Zhang? Let's look at this realistically. And if Zhang loses, what's next for him? Because the idea would be, okay, I'm 40, I'm 38. I don't have time in my career right now for tune-ups. I just don't. So if it's a confidence thing, every time you lose, you fall apart, it's excuses, nothing's going to change because your mindset doesn't change. You don't think that you need to. For Zhang, it's just the same thing, minus the excuses. It's just the point of, okay, because once you get figured out, once you lose that aura, that people just get to the point where, okay, I know how to beat this guy. And with Zhang, we see like it's his gas tank. So for Wilder, if he fights Zhang, and like I said, he's landing his jab upstairs, downstairs, he's not allowing Zhang to just tee off on him, and he's moving, and he's shooting his shot, he's letting his right hand go, but being selective, not just like a wild man just throwing a bunch of punches. And like I said, Zhang is not the type of guy that hunts you down. Zhang is better when he's more stationary and it's more of a stalemate. If Wilder is doing that and he's making Zhang work, Zhang gets tired. That's when Wilder can lower the boom on him. Wilder just has to be patient, he has to be smart, and he has to utilize that jab in his movement. He doesn't have good footwork, but neither does Zhang. You see what I mean? Zhang is 280 fucking pounds. He's not springing around in the ring light-footed. He's 40, so no, Zhang will stand there and pick you apart if you stand in front of him, okay? And Wilder needs to be first. All the time. First. Of course you got to be careful, look out for the count and all that, but I mean, if he's not there to be hit, Zhang has to find him, and Zhang's not good at finding you. Okay. That being said, how they're going to fight is how they're going to fight, if this fight is actually put together, if it happens. But I believe, that they feel more comfortable fighting Zhang because of the things I just said. They see him as the easier win simply because he gasses out. And Wilder has always had that patience to just lay back and wait. But if you're moving but you're not landing anything, you can't win around that way. If you're coming forward, you're not landing anything, same thing. The difference in that is, if he's going back and Zhang's coming forward, then he's considered the aggressor. You understand what I'm saying? But if Wilder is busier, and Wilder's, because, hey, look, jabs are punches. And that's all Wilder really throws is his jab in his right hand. He doesn't throw enough punches. He don't put his punches together. And being that Wilder has no footwork, it's dangerous if he's trying to stand in front of Zhang, throwing uppercuts and hooks, and that's not what he's accustomed to. He's going to get counted, get clipped, and get knocked the fuck out, more than likely. So be smart, be patient, and then get back to what he normally does, but he just has to be busier. And that jab has to be pumping all night. Is Wilder capable of doing that? We'll see. Is Zhang capable of actually training enough to where his stamina is not, he's not near gassing out after 6 or 7 rounds? We'll see. As far as the rest of the card, for what they're trying to do right now, not the other 2 fights. Look, if Urkovic fights that Dubois, you got to remember, right? He's the mandatory. I believe what will happen is, because you got to think, being that Tyson Fury and Usyk is locked in, unless Fury chickens out and says, fuck it, fuck the 10 million, and I'll just take the rest of it, but fuck the 10 million, and pull out, because, with Fury, you just never fucking know. And I wouldn't be shocked if he did pull out, honestly. I'm not shocked about shit. I believe, though, let's say the fight go on, I believe what happens is this. Whoever wins, I believe it comes down to this. The rematch happens, and I could say the same thing for the rematch. Fury could pull out of the rematch as well. Okay? If he's contracted, though, then he's getting sued. So let's just say all systems will go. Whoever wins, I believe what happens is this. It's Filip Urkovic versus Dubois, because that's the fight they're trying to put on the card. That winner of that fight will end up fighting Anthony Joshua. And then that would be the next fight to fight for the vacant IBF, because whoever has it is going to get stripped of it. Okay? Unless that person would decide to fight Anthony Joshua, or the winner of Anthony Joshua and, Urkovic or Dubois, whatever. And this is why, in terms of, it's not contracted for 2. If the stipulation was 2 fights, then it would be like automatically, okay, well, they have to fight, so one of them are getting stripped. Or it's just a fight-by-fight basis. One fight, okay, do you want to exercise the rematch clause? That's what I believe it's more of, not they have to automatically fight the 2. But bottom line, I think that's what it would be. Now, for all of the people that's looking at Anthony Joshua saying that, oh man, but they just put Anthony Joshua there. And I said, no, I don't think anybody should just be put anywhere if they're losing fights. Okay, but you can't sit here and talk shit about AJ when this man, look at his resume and his accomplishments already, and you have a guy like Ngannou who was handed a fucking opportunity that he didn't earn against 2 of the top guys in the division and in the sport. Okay, and with AJ, look at the situation. You heard the words come out of different people's mouths surrounding this fight with him and with AJ and Ngannou, that the winner was gonna be definitely the mandatory to fight, for undisputed. Now, didn't we hear that? They're fighting for undisputed, but now it's like, no, not right away. So what the Saudis are doing is, no, you have to earn everything. We're not just giving you. We're paying you a lot of money. You have to earn. So it's like, no, Anthony Joshua is not just sitting around waiting to see what happens. And then, okay, it's either, Usyk or Fury. It's like, well, no. The fact of the matter, and the reason why you have to know, or why I'm saying it, I believe that's what's going to happen, is because, like I said, Urkovic is the mandatory for the IBF. So if he fights Dubois on his next card, and that's what they're trying to put together, okay, then he's putting his mandatory status on the line, and he could very well lose. So it could wind up being Anthony Joshua versus Dubois instead of Anthony Joshua versus Urkovic. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's not like for that to happen, like Anthony Joshua will be the guy that the winner of that fight has to get through for that IBF title. But that's the thing I'm saying. If Urkovich wasn't the one fighting Dubois, then you have to figure, yeah, it would be Dubois, it would be AJ versus Urkovich. You understand what I mean? Well, it wouldn't even be AJ versus Urkovich. It would be AJ versus the winner of Urkovich and Usyk, or Urkovich versus Fury. You see what I'm saying? But because they're putting him, that's the fight they're trying to put together, is Urkovich and Dubois. Yeah. Well, he's putting his spot as mandatory on the line. Now, that being said, I believe strongly, just like I told you, Deontay Wilder just wants to fight Anthony Joshua for that big ass $50 million or whatever, and whatever the fight whatever they would fight it to be worth now, if it happens, and then retire. Wilder doesn't want, no 3, 4, 5 fights. People talking that shit. No, Wilder already said he wants to retire by the time he's 40. Do you really think that this man is going to start fighting 3, 4 times a year? Do you really think that's what he's going to do? No, but he's put in a position where if you want this Saudi money, you have to be on these cards. You have to do what's necessary. You got to win, man. So Wilder fans would be more than happy, and so would he, that, okay, fuck it. I already didn't fight Parker. I didn't fight Zhang. So, okay, now the fights that we're working on this, if he wins, okay, if he beats Zhang, he should get AJ. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it doesn't work that way. So if Wilder is willing to go through the fire like AJ, like everybody, look at Parker. Parker beat Wilder. Parker beat Zhang. Parker doesn't have a fight on the card yet. And I don't think Parker will be on that card. And the reason I say that is because if Parker's on that card, he can't be no fucking undercard. You understand what I mean? It can't be no undercard. And depending on who Parker fights, especially, they have the main event or light heavyweight bout between Beterbiev and Bivol. And anybody knows, like I just made a video about Bivol. Bivol is not no huge superstar. Not taking credit away from that fight. But what I'm saying is, that goes to show you my point. Wilder's not the star he think he is. Fury's not the star he think he is either. But, these guys are always saying they should be the main event whenever they're on the card. And that's why I say, well, here's the thing, right? AJ versus Wallin was one-sided. Parker versus Wilder was one-sided. AJ broke down Wallin and fucked him up, though. Parker just basically muscled Wilder back and fucked him up, and he decided to fight in the back foot. He got beat up. But, AJ made Wallin quit. There was no resistance from Wallin when his corner said they was throwing in the towel. Why? They saw enough. He was getting his ass whooped. Now, all that being said, because Parker has accomplished more than Wallin, and because Wilder was involved in the fight and his ego made him say him versus Parker should be the main event, his fanboys, they said the same thing. Yet all of them thought Parker was finished. So why the fuck should Parker and why should Parker and Wilder be the main event when you all said Parker sucked, Parker's overrated? And from way back in the day when y'all said Luis Ortiz had knocked Parker out in 2 rounds, Parker ain't shit. Oh, him and Wilder and AJ went the distance. Parker ain't fought nobody. All these things y'all said, right? Parker didn't look too impressive since the Zhang loss, and I mean the Joe Joyce loss, and then the couple of fights that he had that he came back with, he looked lackluster. So yeah, why would a lackluster fighter versus Deontay Wilder be the main event versus a guy who lost 2 times to Usyk and won his next couple of fights, but because y'all don't like the way he fought and y'all wanted Wilder to be that guy? Well, why should that be the case? Especially when Wallin, people even was picking Wallin to be the favorite, that he was going to beat AJ. So basically, according to y'all, before the outcome, Wilder had the harder opponent. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Wilder had the harder opponent all of a sudden. Not before that. Not before that. Y'all was saying it only because Wilder said it. And Wilder thought he should be in the main event. But yeah, overall, nah. Wallin only lost to Fury, gave Fury a run for his money. You know, and people was, oh yeah, he beat up Dominic Brazil and some other guy he fought and all, but yeah, people was, oh yeah. You know, Wallin ain't no joke. Yeah, Wallin this, Wallin that. Okay. Y'all wasn't saying these things about Joseph Parker. Y'all was saying that he was trash and that he was overrated. Yet he should be in the main event. Why? And y'all thought he was going to get cooked. And at the same time, y'all thought AJ was going to get cooked. Now, with all that being said, AJ earned his way back. So now Wilder has to do the same thing. But this isn't a all roads lead to AJ situation. This is no, I'm getting back on track to get as far as I can to get to a title shot, regardless of who's holding the title. Now, if it comes down to a situation where Wilder actually gets back in there and it's him versus Anthony Joshua at some point, so be it. I'm not against the fight. But what I'm saying is you guys are overlooking what Wilder really wants to do. And Wilder doesn't want to fight 4 or 5 people. You guys are tripping. Wilder wants that Anthony Joshua payday right off into the sunset. He gets knocked out. You know he's going to say, well, like I told you guys, you know, I'm a happy fighter. And, you know, I don't have my killer instinct no more, Ray. You know, AJ just caught me at the right time. And that's all, you know, I'm 39 or 40. That's what the excuse would be, which doesn't mean shit to me. It doesn't matter. You know, you know how old you was before you climbed your ass through those ropes. So I don't care about all the excuses, but that's what it would be. You know what I'm saying? So when you know, looking at what they're trying to do, the card they're trying to put together. Bivol and Baturiev, I have no problem with them being main event. I don't have a problem with this shit anyway. It is what it is, you know. But just saying, I don't have a problem with that as a main event. But the people who are looking at it from a fanboy perspective, you got to overlook these people because they're going to say some stupid things all the time and always whatever they like, whoever they like should always be the number one. They should be able to get their way and all of that, whatever. So, and I believe that's a better fight. I believe it's a fight with more interest in it, and you got to also understand, Wilder and Zhang are both coming off losses. Okay, Zhang basically, like I say, he gassed out, you know, but the fight was competitive until he got tired. You know, he was actually winning the earlier part of the fight, and he gassed out. Wilder just got beat up. So this is okay, Wilder, what are you looking like now since the Parker fight? So both guys need to win. And yeah, I mean, both guys are just going to have to take advantage of the other's weaknesses. They're going to have to, you know, be on top of their game. And we're just going to see what's going to happen. You know, and basically I was going to do a breakdown video of Zhang versus Deontay Wilder. And then this news came out today, and I still could do it. I don't want to do it right now, to be honest with you. But, well, I actually just did, basically. I actually just did, yeah. The point was the video was going to be solely based on those two. But, yeah, I mean, pretty much, and that's what this video is. But, yeah, so I really just did it. I just said it with both guys, what I feel like have to happen, you know, for each guy to secure the win. Okay, so, yeah. So, point is, I don't need to do it now. But I'm do a separate video. I just did it here now. But yeah, I mean, I believe that's how. I know what each guy needs to do, but you know, for damn sure, Zhang has to be ready. You know, the fight could end early. You know, it could go to distance. But Zhang, more than likely, even if he's beating Wilder off points, but he's not landing the shot that he needs to land to get him out of there. If he gashes, like I said, that's when Wilder needs to like not go wild in that windmill shit, but just be patient and then get more aggressive with landing that right hand, but just not to be predictable because, you know, he can wind up still running into something because Zhang has big ass power too, for sure. So, and like I said, Zhang just has to be Zhang. He just has to be in shape, and that's it. That's all Zhang needs to do. He already knows what to look for with Wilder. He knows what has to happen. He just has to be in shape. But yeah, and both of this is the last hurrah for both of these guys, because to keep them around and just put them in fights, like, it's not like you should be written off because you lose a fight, especially to another top guy. But after Zhang gassed out like he did and was winning the fight, and then Parker came back and took the fight back from him, hey, that's what champions do. That's the art of a champion. But it's like, okay, now you just lost to Wilder, so now what? No, you got to work your way back up too. Now, anything outside of what the Saudis are doing and whatever you do, okay, cool. But who outside of what the Saudi cards are putting on, what fighter you think wants to jump in there and fight for a lot less money, and then be on a shitty card where, the fight itself just kind of goes unnoticed, nobody really cares about it. So it's the same thing with Wilder. Like, all right, Bomb Squad, you made excuses when you lost to Fury. You made excuses when you lost to Parker. And, now you went there and got beat by Zhang. I mean, how many times are we going to just put you in there with somebody based on what you did or off your namesake? So, yeah, they're both in that situation. They both have something to prove. Now, whether this is, well, when it comes to the Saudis, they come up with the ideas, and there's other, the promoters, different people can pitch things to them, and then if they like it, cool. Now, whether this is a fight that Zhang asked for or Wilder asked for, the point is, for boxing, for their careers, these are the kind of names you want on your resume. When you lay your gloves down finally, and you look at who you fought, you got 40-something fights or whatever, 30-something fights, 50-something fights, whatever, and you only had 3 or 4 credible names out of all them fights. It's like, well, damn, what the fuck was you doing all them other 40-something fights? Right? And you got to look at who's who. So, yeah, I mean, for Zhang, it's the type of shit, like I said, the biggest win of his career would be against Joyce, and the fact that he dominated him twice. I mean, it's an accomplishment. Yeah, you can say, man, hey, I had a good career, but Father Time is defeated by no one. Now, Wilder, you can look at his resume, and you look at the very top guys on his career, on his resume, and you see, when you sit back, a lot of times you make decisions in life, and you start to feel the regret afterwards. Just like how you have fighters that they're not appreciated until after they retire. Then people go, damn, you know what? That dude was really, he was nice, bro. Yeah, that dude was, he was better than people said, and he really was that good. Same thing where fighters can retire, and they sit back, and then that regret sets in. And you look, why didn't I fight Anthony Joshua? Well, why didn't I fight Frank Sanchez? Why didn't I fight Daniel Dubois? Why didn't I go fight Dillian White? Why did I wait so long to fight Joseph Parker? Why? And, telling the public that people ducked you and all that, and yet we're watching multiple fighters call your name out, and then you won't fight them, saying that they're overpricing themselves and all kinds of nonsense, but they don't want to fight you. Like, no. And you sit back and you know the truth that those fights could have happened. And, yeah, so we see what happens. Like I said, as of now, nothing is actually, has any dried ink on it. But this is a fight that they both need. They both need. And, when you get to a certain age to where, like, even if you can physically still do it, but it's like, man, I've been doing this for so long, and then the fire dies down. I mean, what are you going to keep doing it for? You understand what I'm saying? So, like, either guy get like, hey, I don't know financially what Zhang is, how secure his future is, him and his family and whatever. That's, but these guys don't really want to hang around in boxing 50-something years old, late 40s. They don't really want to have to do that. Whenever they do that, mostly it's because it's all they know. You understand what I mean? And the difference There's a difference with what Floyd is doing, because Floyd is still getting upwards of $20-30 million for fucking exhibitions. Zhang is not making no $30 million a fight, and neither is Deontay Wilder. And this is the thing I'm saying. So, and they're still active. So what I'm saying is, when you're no longer in your prime, and you're jumping in a boxing ring, not even doing exhibitions, you're still fighting, and these fights are going on your record and everything, and it's like, who are you fighting and why? That's where you got to really look at things. They're not doing this because they want to. It's a financial situation. You know, it's like I told you guys, even like with Roy Jones. When you know, Roy Jones talking about, if I ain't, you know, I don't do exhibitions. If it ain't the real thing, what am I doing it for, right? And then he said he wasn't boxing anymore. And he said, at my age, what am I doing it for? You have to give me like multi-millions, because, I mean, what sense does it make? I agree. And I also, at the same time, agree with, what the hell would anybody pay you multi-millions for? Just because of your name? Your name doesn't draw anymore. You draw small crowds. Your time is come and gone. You're not worth multi-millions. You understand what I mean? And all of a sudden, he jumps in the ring. He was about to fight some bodybuilding, goofy-looking motherfucker, and then that shit didn't happen. He wound up fighting a former MMA guy, and he lost. You understand what I'm saying? And what did he say? I'm not fighting my opponent. I'm fighting the IRS. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Which is also why I said, don't be surprised after this Mike Tyson shit if Jake Paul don't call out Roy Jones next. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's another story. But yeah, y'all, that this whole situation right now with the card that they're trying to put together, if they have another solid card, and those would be three solid fights, at least on paper. So if they can get those fights secured, honestly, in terms of interest, I'd be more interested to see Dubois and Urkovich, like what happens with, like I feel like that fight seemed like it would be more of a actual good fight, you know. And you know the funny thing with Wilder and with Zhang, even though, like I said, Zhang has big power, he's a boxer, so Zhang doesn't really pull the trigger on you in a way of going after you. He sets his shots up, takes his time, and he's patient. Wilder, even though he has power in the right hand, you know, Wilder's he's just patient. He's not a boxer. He's not a boxer puncher. He's just patient. He's just a puncher. But, you know, and he's just patient. That's it. You know, his style is his style. There's nobody else in boxing that fights the way Wilder does, really. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, so he depends on that right hand. You know, and if it fails and you have nothing else to resort to, next thing you know is what? Get wild, get desperate, get caught, get knocked out. So, you know, it's just one of those things. From a competitive standpoint, you know, I'd have to see the fireworks happen. And if it does, then okay, cool. But, you know, in terms of that fight being like a really productive, really like action-packed fight, or, you know, I don't know. Stylistically, it like I said, it depends on what both guys come to do. Because this fight could end up being like, you know, they're in there, but not much is going on. Both guys are tentative. They both try to not get hit with the big punch. I don't know. But Dubois versus Urkovich, to me, I feel like that would be the fight, you know, to really see. And of course, Petervia versus Bivol, like in terms of the action itself. But I mean, like as far as the heavyweights, yeah. I don't know what other heavyweights they want to put on, but yeah. Heard nothing about Frank Sanchez. You know, heard nothing about you know, Parker. Hell, that'd be a great fight to put on. Joseph Parker versus Frank Sanchez. You know, I like to see Ben Whitaker on that card, man. Like, they got to start, you know, they look, this is the thing, they got so many fighters out there, and the Saudis got time. And what I love is every 3 months, here's another card. There we go. So we just have to wait and see who's on there, how things go. But yeah, since we know that this is a fight that's in the works, tell me what y'all think about Zheli Zhang versus Deontay Wilder. How y'all think that fight go? Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.